So if you want to get rid of it, you have to learn to forgive. And on an even deeper level, there may be also old memories inside you that still are a little bit producing anger. So it is a good practice also. I am not so much into this therapy thing of going back to your childhood, and I don't think it's terribly important, but it's not a bad idea to a little bit remember fights of the past. To just sit and think, oh yeah, 2 years ago this guy did that. And to a little bit there do the same process, go into it, look at it peacefully, see it for what it was, see that the guy was just either stupid or having no control, and forgive him. And then 5 years ago, oh yeah, that happened. And if you remember that something happened, but you don't feel anything about it, you don't feel any anger, then okay, no problem, drop it. But sometimes it can happen. You remember something from 10 years ago, and you haven't thought about it for maybe like 5 years, and it comes back and immediately your anger comes. So then that is something to clean out. That is something in your subconscious mind to work on, to clean out, by going there, looking at it, and forgiving that person for whatever happened. Really dropping it, really letting it go. And that sort of practice will very much help you in your meditation practice. And not just with anger, of course, also with other emotions. So, nobody is a demon. In India they say, the gods, they only give. The demons, they only take. And Mr. Human Being, he gives and takes. This is natural. This just happens. That is how we are. And we can try to only give, but sometimes you also need a little bit to take. So even your best friend sometimes can do something which is not so pleasing. Forgive. We all make mistakes. It's very natural to make mistakes. We are growing. We are trying. And sometimes we get a little like this or like that and out of control, and we do something stupid. It just happens. But it is very essential to be clear with other people about what you want and what you don't want. You have to very clearly set your boundaries and also make it very clear to others what will happen if they cross that boundary. Like, I started doing this sadhana a long time back, so I have to really go through all my relationships and make sure everything there is clear. Otherwise, causes for anger will come. Like even with my clients. Some clients, they think that paying on time is not really needed. They think that, well, as long as they keep the money on their bank account, it's giving them interest, and as long as you are not, calling them and becoming angry about it, they don't pay. Yeah, many companies like that. So I had to change that. So how to work with that is then, instead of calling them and being angry, you just call them and you tell them, well, you didn't really yet pay this invoice, maybe you didn't get it. It's possible that there's a mistake somewhere or something, or no, they have it, so okay, why did you not pay it? Well, yeah, okay, you didn't have the time, or whatever excuse they're coming up. And then you have to say, well, or what I did in any case was, well, please pay it rapidly because I need money, and if you don't, then I have to stop working on your project, your website, or whatever it is I was doing for them, and work for somebody else who can pay me immediately. And then immediately they start paying. If they need you to work on that website, they'll start paying. So this is how to work in your relationships. If there is a relationship, then both have a need for each other. Whether it is a business relationship or a love relationship or any kind of relationship, there's always some exchange, some interaction, and both parties need each other. So if you are saying to a person, okay, this is the line, please don't cross it. This is what I need, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, this is the rule. And if then they cross it, okay, you can still be forgiving and say, oh, didn't you not see, you're crossing the line. Next time, this and this will be the consequence. And ultimately, you have to be able to, or be willing to break the relationship. And most of the time, you won't have to. Just threatening to do it will be very clear. You can say, okay, I like you, I love you, we are good together and so on, and fantastic, but these are the rules. If you don't respect those rules, then I cannot work with you. Then, no hard feelings, you just go somewhere else. and I'll find somebody else, and that's how to do it. And if the relationship really actually means something, then that will be enough, and the other person will respect your boundaries very easily, and you will have no more cause for anger. And this is really what I can say, and what was quite surprising when I started working with this so many years ago, that after some time I realized that not only I had changed in like how I was dealing with anger, but very much my relationships had changed, and people were really behaving very nicely with me. Even if they sometimes were still behaving very not nicely with other people, But towards me, somehow, by being just very clear, and making it very clear that if they cross the line, the relationship depends on it, then they stop. And then some you may lose. Some people are like that, they can't do it. No. They always want to take more and more and more. And also, if you're not getting angry about it, they feel you're not serious about it. No? This is a little problem that you have. If you're not angry with people when they do something wrong, then they think, well, he said he doesn't like me to do that, but apparently he does. Because he's not getting angry when I'm anyhow doing it. So with those people, you have to be very clear. Okay, you do it once more, and you're out. It's finished. I'm done. And you don't have to be angry about that. You can do that in a very peaceful and gentle manner, but firm, and be willing to do it. Be willing to do it. And I lost some friends like that. Some friends just couldn't do it. I said, okay, go on. Many friends I have, so no problem. And so you have to a little bit in that way change your relationships, and sometimes you also may have to fake some anger. That is also my experience. Like with children. Children can be so much into their whatever they are doing, they don't listen. And has such an effect on them. You just using this angry sound, then they become afraid, and then they listen. Like my son, he would easily maybe run over the street and get hit by a car. Not anymore now, he's a bit older, but when he was younger, at that time you maybe have to fake a little bit of anger. When somebody just doesn't understand this way of being, is whether as a child or as an adult, a little bit too primitive to follow this sort of reasoning, and who only can respond if you show the anger. Then okay, fake it, but don't overdo it, because if you start shouting or something like that, then this is going to change also your biochemistry and going to bring a little bit more anger inside you anyhow. So if you do it fast. Meaning, do it short, but also do it well in advance of really getting angry. Like with children, that's very, very good. You see they are misbehaving, okay, just like you're not angry at all, you're actually laughing inside at what they are doing, but if I don't react now, then 5 minutes later I'm going to have to be really angry because it's running out of control. So you have to, in advance, a little bit make it clear, stop, and then, okay, then it stops. So with children, if you're raising children, it's really not so easy to do it without anger, but it's possible. And it's very important then, also with adults of course, if you have shown a little bit of anger, if you have faked a little bit of anger, then afterwards again make peace. No? When they say, oh, okay, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it again or whatever. Okay, now very nice, you want some ice cream? No. So this... huh?
You can start with the ice cream sometimes.
Yes. So something like that, make peace, bring the love back. That is good, but sometimes you may have to fake it. And even with some adults, you can't avoid. Maybe they are in work, like in work relationship, you can't fire your colleagues. No? Only your boss can do that. So sometimes some person may be there who just won't take no for an answer unless it is said in anger. So then, okay, fake it. Also no problem. No? But don't get involved. Stay out of it yourself, and especially get rid of it as fast as possible afterwards. Once that little fire maybe came out, have some water and cool down. Forget about it, but put it out of your mind. Don't stay attached to it. For the rest, if somebody really did something really bad, I mean like really bad, then forgiveness may come more difficult, and the feeling of revenge may be there. You really want to hit back. And well, in that case it just pays to more study the subject of karma. Because the feeling of revenge means that you want justice to be done, right? An eye for an eye. And so understand that an eye for an eye exists. Understand that karma is there, and whatever bad thing is being done will have to be paid for, will be punished some way or other by life, and you don't have to do it. And I'm not really going to go into that subject because it's a very complicated subject about which I can talk for many hours. But basically it is so. So if you really feel, okay, this happened, maybe, I don't know, somebody killed your sister or something, something really bad, and you feel like I can't get rid of it, then studying karma, reincarnation, this whole subject will definitely help. And you will find more peace in it, knowing that some way or other life takes care of itself in that way. And understanding also that your revenge only will bring bad karma on you. Because, as I said, whatever bad thing that person did, this person is innocent of it. This person did do it because he was either stupid or unable to control himself. And so he is innocent. Basically, everybody is innocent. Every criminal is innocent. So if you are hitting that person, then when you could say you are also innocent, yes, sure. But the act is not justified because that person did not know what he was doing. Like Jesus Christ was saying on the cross, Father, forgive them because they don't know what they are doing. Nobody knows what they are doing. We find it easy to forgive cats because they're animals, right? And we feel they are stupid or something, they don't understand some things. But the truth is we are all quite stupid. We are all quite out of control. We are all not so much in control as we think we are. And so in that way we're also quite innocent, and we make mistakes. That's just it. So to go for revenge is not justified, and you will pay for it. So don't, and try to understand. So everything which I've now been saying can help you generally to reduce anger. Maybe some things will happen and you will remember some of the things I said in this class, or and that will be helpful, so that is very good. But you can also work with it more specifically in what is called anger sadhana, to do a specific exercise with anger, which is part of rasa sadhana. In the sense you can do it with many kinds of emotions, but anger is really good one to start with. If you don't have depression, which is another one, if that's not really so much of an issue, maybe we are all depressed sometimes, a little bit, but if depression is not a regular visitor in your heart, then anger is the first one to get rid of and to do this sadhana with. And what this sadhana means is that for a particular period of time, you promise yourself that you will do your utmost best not to get into that emotion. So in the case of anger, you promise yourself you will do your best for one day, for example, not to become angry, as an exercise. And this works quite easily because, you can always be angry tomorrow. So whatever happens, you can tell yourself, okay, today, no, I'm going to be angry, drinking lots of water, I'm not going to think about it, I'm going to drop it, whatever, you remember from the class, you will try to use it, not to get angry. I can always be angry tomorrow. And then the next morning you get up and, rah, you can shout at the person or do whatever you usually want to do, it's fine. So, and the importance of that exercise is that you will learn that you can actually easily do that. Which means that anger is always a choice. It comes, the irritation, somewhere in your body chemistry, in your energy body, in your mental body, this anger develops, and then there is a moment, which maybe lasts only a second, where you realize, I am getting angry. And then you decide, yes, I am angry and I have reason and blah blah blah. Or where you can also decide, oh no, I will let it go. And so this is a very important thing. To just do this exercise a couple of times will already teach you that you are actually in control. Because most people feel, when I get angry, I can't help it. I just explode. Huh? Which is not true. Even for those people, even for people who explode very rapidly, there is still one moment where they are deciding, yes, I am going to be angry. It's a conscious choice. So once you know it is a conscious choice, you can make a different choice. Right? And in that way, it's important to also understand our emotions as a kind of sixth sense. Our emotions are telling us something beyond the rational. You can also have that, like somebody is doing something and you are feeling irritated, but you don't really know why. And only because you are feeling irritated, you start to think about it. And then you think, oh yes, but now he's saying this. And actually yesterday he was saying that. And last week he promised that. And if you put that all together, what he is doing at this moment is really not acceptable. And then you know why you're angry, and then you can react on it. So this little irritation that comes is a little bit like a messenger. Your rational mind has not figured it out, but your emotional mind, somehow more deep inside, has found there is something going on here which is not, right, something fishy, and it helps you. So if you do this sadhana, if you do this exercise, you will learn to see this feeling coming, and then when it comes and you come in front of that choice, okay, am I going to be angry or not, you're going to remember your promise. You promised yourself today you were going to try not to be angry. And because of it, this second will become maybe a couple of seconds, will maybe become a little bit longer, and you will be looking at the source of it. And then you can see, okay, thank you for the message. Right? The anger brought you a message. Thank you for the message. I will now think about it, but I will drop the anger. And I will think about it peacefully and react peacefully and change or say whatever is needed to be said so that this situation is stopped, but without getting angry. So this is the power of anger sadhana. And in the beginning, I tell you, you should only do it for a short time. Just one day. A week, for example, is very good. One day a week, Tuesday is a very good day to do it, because you are most likely to get angry on a Tuesday according to Vedic astrology. But anyhow, whatever day suits you is Mars related. Mardi, in French. But anyway, whatever day. And then you just do it one day, because it is a little bit a dangerous game if you do it too fast. Like one person was in one of my classes in 2007 or something it was, and he was very enthusiastic. So after the class, he decided, now I'm going to do 1 month anger sadhana. 2 weeks later, he really hit somebody very bad, which he had never done in his whole life. Because he was so much feeling, I cannot get angry, because he promised himself that he was bottling it up inside, could not really forgive or do anything I had been telling him because getting too much, and then suddenly he hit a person. And you also have to be a little bit careful, because if you start this kind of sadhana, you might be tested. I mean, this is in spirituality something to know. If you start particular sadhanas, this is not just going to be a usual day, this is not going to be usual. It can happen that strange things come, and you are tested. Always build it up slowly. But the idea is, of course, to do it longer and longer, but slowly. So for some time, do it 1 day a week or something, or maybe 2 if you start feeling okay about it, and then slowly you can increase it, and then 2-3 days, and then at some point, but I would say after months of doing it now and then for a day, you can say maybe for a week. But already for a week is something. No? And then after a couple of times you have done it for a week, always leaving some time in between where you can be normal and be angry as before. You will be already less angry at that point, of course, but still you are allowed to. So the expression can happen in your relationship. Some things will be wrong, some things will require expression. So maybe anger will be needed also to a little bit sort it out, a little bit of fire, But so slowly build it up until at some point you can say, okay, now I stop for a year. And once you stop for a year, why again start? So then at some point it becomes a continuous game. And for me it became at some point a continuous game, not to be angry. And I'm not saying I never feel any irritation. This is not what I'm saying. But it doesn't go any further than that. For me, a little irritation is just a little electrical chemical game which is coming and telling me, oh, something you should better look into. And then I say, thank you very much. I will look into it and solve it. Right? And that slowly comes, But don't go too fast. Don't go too fast. And actually, when you are doing it, don't tell anybody. I am now also talking about it for myself, but actually, you should not talk about it to people for a number of reasons. First of all, you should actually not talk about sadhana because it will reduce your courage. It will reduce your self-confidence. Because if you talk about it, you will lose the power of it. Only if you just do it for yourself, then it will be strong. But if you talk about it, then it becomes words, and that way it will become less power, and people will start expecting from you, and because they expect from you, you start being a little bit like uncertain. Will you be able to do it? So then your confidence goes down. So this is the first reason. The second reason is obviously that if you are telling other people, like your friends and relationships, that, oh, now I'm doing anger sadhana, they're going to have a good time, yeah? Sure, they're going to try to test you. So I've seen that happening quite a few times, that people did things and afterwards they said, well, I just did it to see if your anger sadhana was still good, so okay, So that is the third reason. But the fourth reason mainly is that it may push you to suppressing the emotion. Because you will get an extra reason not to express any anger that you are feeling because, of your public image. You've told other people you're not going to get angry and still you are angry. And really need to express it because it's so strong you just can't let go. And so then you have to be able to do it. Be careful in these things. Don't, hold it down. If it can, go. Rasa sadhana means to let it go. And you are successful if you feel, okay, I am no longer angry about it. I can think about this subject and not feel anger about it. Maybe feel some concern about it or, a little bit like wondering what am I going to do with it, but don't feel the anger about it. Then you are doing the right thing. But if you see that you are not able to do that and you are like for a prolonged time upset about it, then express it. Hit them if necessary. Some people need it. Saying, some people are crazy. You need to wake them up. Some people really are like children. They only behave if they get a little angry, and then they behave. It's like that. So don't talk about it. And the siddhi or power, which comes after long anger sadhana, after being a long time without anger, is called bhukti. And bhukti means that you have the power to enjoy whatever comes, becomes enjoyable. Because, well, as I explained, you are not expecting anything, everything which comes is okay. So then really enjoyment becomes possible. And you will find that maybe if you were not a very funny person before, that suddenly you become very easy able to make other people laugh, tell jokes and things like that, because that fire energy of the anger will go more to joy and will be more available to joy, because the fire also needs some way to go out. So if you don't have any anger, then joy is the only way you can really do it. So anger sadhana is a very profound way to change yourself. Slowly, not making too much of an ego game of it, although of course it is a little ego game. If you are in the morning promising yourself, I'm not going to get angry, this is a little bit an ego game. You are using your pride, no? So that during the day, whenever something happens, you will feel, oh, I cannot get angry because I promised myself. Even if you did not tell anybody else, if you still get angry, you're going to feel ashamed. No? So this is a little game. It's nothing wrong, but don't overdo it in the beginning. No? Slowly, it will come. And once you have mastered one rasa, and as I said, anger is a really good one to start, then it will be much easier, much faster to also get rid of the other unpleasant rasas. Because you will have gained this self-confidence, and because you will more understand the whole process. And then what took many years for anger took just like 2 years for the rest. So in my case, this then came very fast. And as I say, it is not that these feelings don't come. It's just that you are no longer walking along with them. That you just see them coming. Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye, and move forward peacefully. And then only you can really develop your agreeable rasas. Because of course there are then the agreeable rasas, they are no longer disturbed by it. Because if you look at enemy and friendly rasas, the most enemies are of course between the unhappy rasas and the happy rasas. They are most enemies of each other. So if you can drop the unhappy rasas altogether, then your love, your devotion, your laughter, your joy, your wonder, all these things, they will become very, very strong and beautiful. So it's not that you are going to become like an emotionless plant or something, like a vegetable, Not at all. On the contrary, your emotional life will much improve, your artistic quality will much improve, all these things.